All right, and now we need to talk about this one in our crazy, crazy world we're living in. 3 days till Christmas, and people are not going to have their families there with them, and just absolutely tragic. I my sympathies go out to these people that are dealing with these situations. This is not what the holidays are about, and this seems to be a ongoing trend to find the worst time possible to impose horrible things on other people. And it's part of our crazy, crazy world we're living in today. And so it's happened again in Germany. There's been another Christmas market attack in which somebody has driven their car into a crowd of people, and there's a lot of people injured, and a lot of people who are going to be dealing with trauma for a long time. And it is a function of Western society right now where we are dealing with a lot of these crazy situations where people don't seem to appreciate the world in which they've moved to. So let's have a look at this. We'll add the stories. So, and again, we want a balanced approach. So we're trying to, talk about a few different perspectives on it. CNN has reported that authorities in Germany are facing growing accusations that they could have done more. This individual has rammed a car into a busy market in the city of Magdeburg, killed 5 people, not 2 people. And originally I thought it was 2, and I think that's what it was initially reported, but now it's 5 people, and there's more than 200. So there's 5 families that are not going to have their loved one there for Christmas, which is effectively today as of this recording. This person has lived in Germany for more than a decade and now is decided this is the way to go about the holidays, and this is the crazy times we're living in. And you can read this here. You can find this article on CNN. The dead include a 9-year-old boy and 4 women aged 45, 52, 67, and 75, which is just tragic. This poor 9-year-old's mother, I just can't even imagine what she's going through right now. And why these people do these things, none of us will ever be able to guess, but we need to seriously evaluate why these things are happening, how we're approaching our governments, and why our governments are being run the way they are, and how things like this are becoming more normal than not. So we can flip over to Euro News. Same story. There's the 2018 attack in Strasbourg, France. 2016 at the Berlin Christmas market. And obviously, these are places where people are gathering and trying to celebrate, and people are using that as a reason to attack other people. So you can see here, and actually Euronews does a pretty good job of chronicling it. Magdeburg, Germany, 20th of December 2024. Trier, Germany, 1st of December 2020. Strasbourg, France, 11th of December 2018. Potsdam, Germany, 1st of December 2017. Berlin, 19th of December 2016. That one killed 12. Just horrible. Nantes, France, 22 December 2014. Dijon, 21st of December 2014. And these are just horrible stories to have to deal with at this time of year. This is supposed to be a time where everybody's celebrating, whether it's from a religious perspective or a traditional perspective. It's a time of holidays and spending time with family. And for people to do things like this, you have to ask yourself, what we're all doing and why we're doing it that is creating situations in which this is what's going on. And there's always going to be people who are less caring about other people and all those things, but there's ultimately a history we can look back on where things like this did not seem to be as frequent. So flip over to Al Jazeera, get a different perspective. Germany debates migration and motives after deadly market attack. And, you know, you can look at this and horrible story. And how these things don't divide people is beyond me. Of course it's going to divide people because people are going to look at things and say, and there's an in-group bias that exists within the human animal where we don't do these things typically to each other when our in-group is more representative of the larger population. And there's some discussion to be had about diversity and all those things, but there is an innate in-group bias in humanity where when people believe the same things, they tend to behave less in a way that is detrimental to the wider group. And I don't think that's arguable. You might think that's arguable, but one of the things that we've gotten away from is understanding what the human animal is and how it functions within the wider culture and the wider belief system within each of the countries and the various groups within the world. So you've got Western culture, you've got other cultures, you've got Islamic cultures, you've got Asian cultures, and all these things operate differently. Anyone who tells you that these things operate the same and these things should be totally cohesive, I don't think does not have a real understanding of how humans function in the world. And this is where we end up with some of these challenges. And of course, then you get the disingenuous media calling it far right when they hold a march in the city. You know, everything that isn't quote unquote far left is now far right. And it's funny how a lot of these far left positions view everything as far right. And I bet you a lot of these people just don't want to see things like this happen. And that's part of this disingenuous nature of the media today is everything is framed as far right because they want a safe society to live in. And I think you could say the same thing for a lot of other cultures. I don't think a lot of other cultures want people immigrating to their country and attacking their citizens either. But the way the media has to frame everything is if you're not completely on board with a policy that has become a narrative, then you are suddenly far right, and it's quite disgusting, to be honest with you. And then we can go over to the 9-year-old who is among the 5 killed in the attack on Germany. And so here is some of the video of this individual being pulled over. Let's see, the front end of the vehicle's mangled there. We won't play too much of that. And then we can go over to the German president has called for unity in Christmas address. In his traditional Christmas speech, German President Frank-Walter Steinmeier called for people in Germany to stand together against hatred. He mentioned both the Magdeburg attack and the upcoming elections. And that is a disgusting, disgusting headline. The only hatred here is the person who killed 5 people and drove over 80 other people. Pretending, and this is the same thing we talked about in the last video, pretending that the people who are reacting to a crime are somehow the ones with hatred is what the media has done time and time again to frame this argument around everybody else to protect their own power and to protect their own position. And just look at that face. I can't even describe what you're doing smiling in a situation like this. Your own citizens have been killed. There's obviously problems. And the only message is to stand against hate. I'm sure the German citizens would love to stand against hate and have 5 of their citizens not dead today. So again, hold your politicians accountable. Be safe out there. It's not about hating other people, but it gets into a larger discussion that when you catch somebody like this and they're obviously guilty, is there a place for the death penalty? What is your feeling on what these crimes should encompass? How should they be punished, and how should politicians be dealing with this? And I'm not sure this image is the one I would want to go with in a situation where 5 of my citizens had just been killed via random attack 3 days before Christmas. Many sympathies to the families of these people, and I hope one day we can say that a crazy, crazy world is behind us, but I'm not sure when that's going to be.